Hi guys. So as you might have noticed, I sent out an announcement and I've pushed your outline back one day or one class period rather. So today's Monday. Originally your outline was due on Tuesday, but I would like to talk about it tomorrow in class a little bit, or at least give you a little bit more time to get grounded. So I'm pushing it back till Thursday. So that'll be an announcement, but I just wanted to let you know as you're watching the video as well. So as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about MLA formatting and how you might do that. Yeah. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm doing. Perfect. Okay, let's get rid of this. Um, as you know, you have to turn your stuff in a Word document, and my preferred way of writing papers is in Word. If it's new to you, this might be kind of helpful. Yeah, so we'll open up Word. We'll start with a blank document. Very cool. Okay, so there's a few things that you need to do to set everything up first. As we talked about in class, you need to have 12-point Times New Roman font. So the automatic font is something else. So we'll have to change that to Times New Roman. Okay, cool. 12-point is the automatic font that it'll be in, but it's always good to double check. Perfect. And then it has to be double spaced. So we do that by going to this little button here. Double spaced. Perfect. Okay. So then we'll do our MLA heading. And it says that 4-line introduction. It's always going to be on the left, on the left-hand side. Sorry, I was like thinking about it. But you'll start with your name. Okay, there I am, Amelie Broussard. And then you'll put your teacher's name. Here I'm going to put Miss Broussard. I don't care if you call me Amelie Broussard, that's totally fine. Miss Broussard is also fine. I'm just putting Miss so that it differentiates it. Okay, and then you'll put the class. This is English 103, perfect. And then the date. Today is October 7th, so I'll put that. Usually in the US, we say it like that, October 7th, but everywhere else in the world, they say 7 October. They don't necessarily say it that way, but when they write it that way. That's what MLA asks us to do, so that's what we'll do. And it's super simple. It's just 7 October 2024, if I could type it correctly. Okay, perfect. All right, so imagine this is your paper. We are writing our visual analysis paper right now, of course, and you need a title for it. Okay. No matter what, you have to have a title. Personally, if you just want to put visual analysis, that's totally fine. But if you want to be a little bit creative, this is where you get to be creative. I'm just going to say visual analysis here right now. As you noticed, the default is here on the left. Your title has to go in the center. Okay. I'll put visual analysis. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to do anything fancy here. Just the same Times New Roman 12-point font. Sometimes people will make it bold or bigger, nothing like that, right? Of course, as you saw in the exercise that we did in class, if you have a book title, it'll still be in italics, right? So, yeah, but don't do anything funny to the title that's out of order. Okay. So then we have to put our page number in, right? And we'll do that by going to insert page number right here. Okay. The default is at the bottom of the page. We don't want that, so we'll have to do a little bit of changing here. We'll do the top of the page. Perfect. Okay. And we need to put our name next to it. And if you go and you click the little box, it'll let you type next to it. You might have to fiddle around a little bit, but it will let you do it, I promise. So I'm putting my last name here right in front. Okay. And as you might have noticed, this isn't automatically in Times New Roman. So we have to go back and we have to put it in Times New Roman. Okay, cool. So this is our setup, right? This is where our paper is going to be. This is, the basics, right? And we talked a little bit about making citations in class the other day. So I'll go ahead and explain that again, just so you have a record of it. Obviously, when you're going to type the body of your paper, you want to put it back to left alignment. Okay. And at the beginning of a paragraph, we press tab and then we start typing our paragraph, right? Okay. So I'm not saying anything of value here. I'm just making some text so that you can see what we're talking about. I said this is a paper in my visual analysis. This is a paragraph in my visual analysis paper, right? Okay, cool. Say I wanted to quote something. So how about okay, according to my mom, a homemaker of 30 years, right? You have to introduce who we're talking about. It's like having a conversation. You don't want to just name drop someone without telling us who it is, right? Um, so according to my mom, a homemaker of 30 years, and then I'll quote her directly. You should go grocery shopping once a week. Okay, cool. So we put that in quotation marks because it's a quote from her. Those are not my words. Those quotation marks make it really clear that those are words that I'm taking from someone else, right? Cool. So we're giving credit to that person. And we need to make sure that our reader is able to go back and find where she said that. Okay. So my mom hasn't published anything, but imagine that she did. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is called an in-text citation in MLA formatting. Okay. So imagine that she had published this in an academic journal, which a lot of your citations going forward will be from academic journals. You'll put parentheses here, and then you'll put the author's last name. My mom's last name is Broussard as well. And then the page number that you found it from, the page number that you're quoting from. Okay, so Broussard 24. And you'll notice here that the period goes outside of the quotation marks. Okay. Oh, when you're doing a citation. Normally, if we didn't have this in-text citation here, the period would go inside of the quotation marks. It's not a really big deal, but everyone has like little pet peeve things, and that's one of mine. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that's an in-text citation. If we're citing from a journal or something with page numbers, even a book would be, the in-text citation would look like this. Okay, so imagine we're citing from a website, though. This might be something that you're going to be doing in your visual analysis. You don't have to, but you're able to if you want to. So let's just pick a website. Say my mom published an article on NPR, which is like a news website, right? Let me just go ahead and find something. Like I said, my mom doesn't have a website, but imagine she did. Okay, say I'm citing from this website specifically. Up here, this is about the hurricane. Um, there's this big long citation. Okay, there's or URL. There's this big long URL, but you'll notice that the root of the URL or like the basics, like say you were talking about Google, it would be google.com, right? Here it's npr.org. So that's where we're going to put in our in-text citation if it was going to be from a website instead of something with a page number. So say it's still written by my mom, Shelley Broussard, but it's not published in an article. It's on a website instead. We would put broussardnpr.org. Okay, cool. However, this gives us a little bit of information. It lets us know who the person is that said the thing, but it doesn't give us all of the information, right? If I went to npr.org, it wouldn't bring me here. It would bring me to where we just came from, here. And, tomorrow, this isn't going to be the first thing that pops up because it's a news site. They're adding new stuff all the time. So we need to give a little bit more information to make sure that our readers can find the thing that we're quoting. And this is where the bulk of the rules around MLA come from, right? The ones that we've already talked about are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Citations are where things start to get a little bit maybe they look a little bit more complicated, but I promise they're totally manageable. You can do it. So I'm going to go to our Moodle page. Okay, here we are. This is your class. Perfect. You will notice up here at the top, your Moodle might look a little bit different than mine because I have like permissions that you don't. But here, so it's third, we have our MLA style guide. And this website gives you so much information about how to make citations in MLA formatting. So much. You can cite almost anything in MLA. They have rules for everything, right? And it gives you all kinds of information about it. If you ever have any questions, I would recommend going here and figuring out that way. Okay. Um, but as you can see, we need a lot more information than just the author's last name and the page number it came from, right? We would need the author's whole name, the title of the source, the title of container. So that's just like, say it's a journal. The title of the container would be like the name of the journal. Other contributors, all of this stuff. Okay. So we need all that stuff. And the reason we need it is because we need to make a works cited page. Okay, so whenever you're going to make a works cited page, that is the page that gives all of the information that corresponds to the citations that you put in your paper. So if you didn't cite anything, if you don't have any quotation marks in your paper, you don't need a works cited page. But if you do have any quotation marks, you always, always, always need a works cited page, okay? So the works cited page will go after your paper and it will always be another page. Okay. So you could do that by going like enter, like that. But if I did that and I came back to type, I'm working on my paper, I'm editing, it's going to mess everything up. I don't recommend doing that. Instead, you're going to go to insert pages and then page break. Okay. That gives us a whole new page. And as you can see, my page numbers, we put them in correctly. So here we have it, Broussard 2, this is the second page. And it'll stay like this. So if I type up here, it's not going to mess up where the page break is. Okay. Cool. So now we're working on our works cited page. We need another title to let us know this is a works cited page. Okay. So again, we'll go in the center. And here, it always has to be works cited. When you're giving a title for your paper, you can get fancy. When you're doing a works cited page, you can't. It's always works cited, right? And the same thing, 12 point Times New Roman, double spaced, works cited page. Cool. So let's cite something. All right. This is called a citation machine. I love them. I use them in my own work, and I think it's totally fine to use them, but you have to be a little bit careful. So say I want to cite this website. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this URL. Again, you can get to the citation machine through the MLA style guide on our Moodle page. So it's super easy to find. You'll pick the thing that you're citing. So we're citing a website, but it could be a book, it could be a journal article, could be all kinds of things. And we'll copy and paste the whole URL here. Okay, cite. Cool. This is the thing that we're citing. Okay, so then we'll click cite. Okay, it's telling us that we're missing a little bit of information. That's totally fine. We'll fill it in. We'll press continue. Sometimes it makes you watch an ad. I think you can pay for a subscription. I don't recommend doing that because it's not something you're going to use all the time. Or it's not something even I use all the time, but it's up to you. So an ad might pop up. It didn't for me this time. Okay. So you want to go through and make sure that all of the information is correct. So the title of the thing that we're citing, the news article or whatever, is called Hurricane Milton reaches category 4 strength days before it's poised to hit Florida. Okay, cool. That's great. However, the capitalization in this title, they're funny, right? So I have to go in and do some editing. So we need to capitalize all the words that need to be capitalized. Okay, cool. If you ever have a question about words that need to be capitalized in a title, usually like small words like it, to, those words don't have to be capitalized, and then you can always Google it. So I'm not sure actually if before needs to be capitalized. So let's Google it, right? Um, yes, it says it should. Cool. Usually small words will be capitalized and big words will not, but it's always good to check. Okay, cool. Um, we want to find the author's name, right? And they pulled that for us. Cool. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes on a website, here they have it like right up the top, very cool. Sometimes on a website you'll have to scroll all the way down and it'll be at the bottom. But just take a look and see if you can find the person. Okay, the website title is NPR, the publisher is NPR. There's the URL. Let's double check and make sure that it was published today. Probably so, because I got it from the front page. Yes. Okay. Very cool. Okay. Oh, there's the ad. All right. I always just watch the ads because I'm cheap, I guess. I don't know. I think it costs like $9 a month. It's not really worth it. Okay. So there it is. It's making our citation for us. You want to make sure that you go in and double check everything, the information first before you press the button to make the citation, and then you'll go in and double check and make sure nothing's looking funky after it gives you the citation that it made, right? As you work or as you write more, this it'll be easier for you to be able to tell if something's looking funky. But you know, that's not what I meant to do at all. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what happened, but it gave us what we need, so it's all good. Okay. So this is the citation that we're using. So say we cited something from that paper. Um, this is our citation that we're going to put in our works cited page. Okay. So you can copy it like this. Cool. And then we'll go back to our Microsoft Word page. All right. And then we'll paste it. Okay. So as you can tell here, it's a little funky, right? It looks a little funky. Oops, that's not what I meant to do at all, but it doesn't matter. Looks a little funky. Um, and that's fine. You might have to do some playing around, but it's supposed to look a little funky, okay? It's called a hanging indent, and I'll show you how to do it. Um, you'll highlight each of the entries. So say we cited more than one thing here. You would do that for all of your entries, okay? Or you can build them manually if you want to, if that's easier. Sometimes for like a book or whatever, it's easier to just do it manually. It'll look something like this, right? So that's much easier. But sometimes when you have a journal article or something, it might get a little bit more complicated. Whatever. Just always go and make sure that you check to make sure that it's looking how it's supposed to, right? Okay. So see, we'll compare the author's name. We have these. This is the name of the article. It's in quotation marks. Okay. NPR. NPR. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was comparing it to an unfinished citation. So scroll all the way to the bottom to the part where it's finished. Or you can go to the side here. Uh, electronic sources. Okay. And it'll tell you how to do everything, what you're looking for, what you need. This is how they should be looking. Okay. All right. So we have that. We're gonna copy it. We're gonna do the hanging indent. So copy each one at a time, right? Copy, and then we're gonna go to double click on it, paragraph, and then here under indentation, special, hanging. Bam. There we go. And if you had more than one, I'll just go ahead and copy this one here so that you can see what it looks like. Okay. So I'll have to go in and change the formatting. Of course, we want Times New Roman, 12, cool. And then we want a hanging indent there. So paragraph, special, hanging. Okay, cool. So as you can see, the author's last name will stick out. This one here, the second one that they gave us, the Purdue Owl family of sites, they don't have an author listed. And sometimes you'll see that with websites. That's fine. You'll just put the title of the website, right? Okay. So then we have these. You want to put them in alphabetical order. So these two guys should be switched. That doesn't count when you're making alphabetical order, right? So it'll be P and then T. Okay. So this is our works cited page. Perfect, right? Okay, so that is how you make your citations. All of the resources that you need are linked on our Moodle page, and I think that you should be able to do that. Okay, all right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in class tomorrow, and have a good afternoon. All right, bye guys.